Hello guys, aminizle here, and this is my first look at Darius. I'm just gonna go over his abilities real quick before I jump into some gameplay footage. His passive is Hemorrhage, and attacks and damaging abilities cause enemies to bleed for 12 plus 8 magic damage over 5 seconds. Stacking up to 5 times, Darius gains 5% movement speed for each bleeding enemy champion. Okay. What that basically means is every single time you hit an enemy, whether it's with your basic attack or with your ability, you put a stack on it, which can stack up to 5 times, and it does some damage over time. Do not underestimate this. This really makes a huge difference. For every champion that's bleeding, you get a 5% movement speed. So if you hit your Q, which is a spinning slash, and you hit 5 champions, then you will get 25% increased movement speed. Right, his first ability is Q, which is Decimate, and it has a pretty short cooldown, only 9 seconds, and it only gets shorter. Deals 70 physical damage to all nearby enemies in a circle. Champions in the outer half of the ability are struck by the blade take 50 additional damage. So as you can see on the screen, I'll try to move here a bit. Here. So what you can see is the inner circle. If your enemy is hit by that, so if you're standing right next to him and you're auto attacking him, then it only does 100% damage. But if it's in the outer circle, say he's running away or you're running away, then it does 150% damage, which is really good. Also, this applies 1 stack of Hemorrhage on any and every champion. Like, it's very handy. Okay, Crippling Strike, his W. Also on a very short cooldown, only 8 seconds, and it gets a lot shorter. The next basic attack deals 120 damage, slows the target's movement and attack speed by 20% for 2 seconds. Okay, 2 seconds may seem very short, but trust me, that's all it takes for him to destroy you. And by the way, once you are level 18 and you have at least 15% cooldown reduction, 2 seconds is the cooldown basically that you have on your Crippling Strike. So you can use this, you can perma-slow them, that's what I'm trying to say. Crippling Strike's cooldown is reduced by 1 second for each stack of Hemorrhage on the target. Here you go. So his E, which is Apprehend, has a passive component and an active component. The passive component grants you 5 armor penetration. Now this gets, every single point you put in this, it will get increased by 5%. So if you have this at level 1, then it will be 5%. If you have this rank 2, then it will be 10%, 15%, etc., etc. So it goes really easy, really well. Pulls in all enemies in front of Darius. Now you have to understand, it says all enemies. So it's not like Blitzcrank's arm grab where he just grabs one thing and you have to hit it perfectly. No. If there's a ridiculous amounts of minions in front of you and a champion standing right behind the minions, you will grab the champion and the minions. You can grab a neutral creep from the jungle over the wall, so you can basically pull blue buff through the wall and steal him very easily. Also same thing with red buff and other buffs. Here we go. His ultimate, this is really the sickest ultimate in the game. This is the reason why I'm buying this champion. This is the moment it comes out. Noxian Guillotine. It has a 100-second cooldown. Oh man, it's so sick. Watch this. Leaps to target enemy champion and strikes a lethal blow, dealing 160 true damage, which scales with your AD, attack damage. The more attack damage you have, the more this sucker will kick the crap out of everybody. It is true damage. You cannot build anything against this other than health. For each stack of Hemorrhage on the target, Noxian Guillotine deals an additional 20% damage. You can have 5 stacks of Hemorrhage on a person, and that will make you deal 200% of the damage. So it says here, right here, maximum damage 348. Okay? Now, keep in mind, so a champion, say level 6, will probably have, what, 1,000, 1,200 health, right? You use this on the champion, okay? You will knock off 1/3 of his health right there. Then you also have your passive, which is again gonna be like, say you have 5 stacks, it's gonna be another 100 health right there. Just these two things, your passive and your ultimate, takes off like, I'd say about 50% of his health. That's something to be scared of. And then the fact that you cannot run away from this guy because he can slow you and pull you back in. And the fact if you do manage to get a little bit of distance, he will still hit you. He will still hit you and do tons of damage. Now, another thing about his ultimate is the cooldown is refreshed if Noxian Guillotine kills the target. This means that if you use this as a killing blow on any champion, you can use this immediately again if you have 100 mana. Just think about the pentakills right there. Alright, it's time for some game footage. Let's do this. For runes, I went AD red, armor yellow, magic resist per level blues, and attack damage quintessences. You don't need to have armor penetration on him. You're gonna get that from your masteries anyways, and you're gonna get that from your E ability. So you do not need to build a brutalizer anyways. No brutalizer and no armor penetration reds. For masteries, I went 24 in offense, 6 in defense, and 0 in utility. I made sure to grab every piece of armor penetration and in offense that I could find. And in defense, I took magic resist and armor just for the sake of laning. Alright, so this is the point where all you guys have been waiting for. The first items that I took were boots and 3 health pots. The first ability that I took was my Q. That was for harass. In the beginning, I'm gonna be missing my Q a few times because I didn't know the range of it, and I was trying to hit it at basically at max range. My summoner spells that I took were ignite and exhaust. I don't recommend using exhaust on him. He doesn't have any escape mechanisms, and ghost and flash are much better. But however, I do recommend you take ignite on him always, regardless of what role you're playing. Because the ignite just works really well with his passive. Darius is one of the few champions, or only champion actually, that I can think of that has a recall animation. So whenever you press recall, he raises his axe in the air and he goes back. So here we're going to be harassing each other with our Q. He was able to land an auto attack and a Q on me. That's why I took so much damage. So as you can see, his Q does a very fair amount of damage. So here we're just harassing each other. I have health pots, so I'm able to regain health while he only has a dormant, so he has to hit in order to get a little bit of health back, but that's really not that much. I take my E first as my second ability because I was hoping I could pull him into the turret. Unfortunately, that was not the case.
Stay alert.
The thing you have to remember about his E is he pulls in both minions and champions, because so whatever's in front of you, you'll be able to pull that in. So here I pull him in, hit it with my Q, exhaust him, ignite him, take my W, and finish him off. So I get my first blood, 400 gold. I do make the mistake of just sticking around. Now I'm low on mana and I'm low on health, and he's able to finish me off. Had I just gone back, I probably would have come back and destroyed this guy, but oh well. Sad boost. So I go back and buy a ruby crystal and a longsword. So I'm just putting stacks on him of as many blood as I can. Use my E to pull him back in because I know that I am stronger than him at this point. Finish him off with my Q. Now I was about to die here to his passive, but I remember that I had health potions and I started using those. Take my ultimate at level 6, of course.
I will not rest.
So I bought my Phage and cloth armor, which, by the way, is a must. The Phage is a must. Whether you build Trinity Force or you build your Frozen Mallet, it is definitely a must-have item. 5 stacks and my ultimate, and boom, down he goes. His ultimate, in my opinion, is one of the most satisfying ultimates in the game. So as you can see, I finished him off with my ultimate, and my ultimate has no cooldown. Had I used it before and he didn't die from it, then it would have been on cooldown right now. Again, I make the mistake of not going back, and I end up dying to him. Also, I take turret blasts. Not a good idea. I have red buff, and I'm very confident. Like right now, he has 5 stacks. As soon as you see the thing above his head, then the skull, then you know that he has 5 blood stacks, and that's the point where you want to use your ultimate. Ignite, red buff, basically stacks so well with him. I miss my E. He pulls me back in, so I just going for a kill. Exhausted ignite. Unfortunately, I take a lot of damage also. Had this fight taken place a little bit later, I might have been able to finish him off with my ultimate, but it was on cooldown. So I'm saving my E for when he starts running away, if he does run away. Which he doesn't.
Death by my hand. Stay alert.
Now I've finished off my frozen mallet and I've got a vampiric scepter. Once you build a frozen mallet on him, there is no way the other person is going to escape from you. Look at this slow. He's so tanky and still he's able to just stick to his target. Notice how low the cooldowns are on his W once you have 5 stacks of hemorrhage on the enemy. It's about 2 seconds. Now all this footage is taken in the beta server, so it could change by the time it's released. Now I was having difficulty with him and I wanted to build something that counters him, so I bought a hex drinker. Now you might think, like, why did you buy a hex drinker? Because he doesn't do any magic damage. Well, that is correct. However, I was having difficulty with him finishing me off with his passive, which is hemorrhage. And the hex drinker saves me from that. Here we go. I would have died here to the passive, but the hex drinker pops up and I'm able to survive. Also of note is that I didn't finish him off with my ultimate, so my ultimate was on cooldown. You can tell how the enemy has 5 stacks on him when that skull appears above their head. Also, you can use your W to do more damage to turrets, push faster. I would recommend you hold off and just use the ultimate only to finish him off. Other than that, it's also a good gap closer if you really must. I hope you guys enjoyed this. It took me a very long time to make. I want to show a little bit more, and that is that you can use your E to pull minions over the wall and basically steal them. Overall, Darius is an incredibly fun champion. At the moment, he feels extremely powerful. I think they're gonna nerf him before he's released, but we'll see. So, once more, I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care, guys. Bye bye.